Hey friends, we are back from vacation. Today is Monday, December 30th. We got back a couple of days ago and it was amazing. I certainly hope you and your family and loved ones had a wonderful Christmas holiday. If you celebrate Christmas, New Year's is upon us. And I've been thinking a lot about goals. You know, what do I want to accomplish in 2025, and not so much in a corporate professional sense, but more so personally. I think goals can go either way, but I find that the more, this is just me, the more meaningful goals are the ones that are more personal growth based. And so I've just been thinking about that a lot lately. But the other thing that I was like, oh my gosh, it's December 30th. And we're going to be starting the Pantry Challenge in 2 days. So I kind of need to get myself together. And that's the purpose of the video today, is to kind of let you know what our plan is for the Pantry Challenge, also known as the 3 Rivers Challenge with Jessica from 3 Rivers Homestead. She hosts this every year. This is either our 4th or 5th year doing it, and I always look forward to it. It's kind of, for us, a reset. It helps just reset the routine of healthy, nourishing foods and eating in the house, you know, utilizing all of the hard work of everything we've grown and put up over the year, and resets the budget, right? Just like financially it resets. So I always look forward to this. I don't know that my family looks forward to it as much as I do, but they're along for the ride. All right, so let me kind of tell you my goals with the Pantry Challenge. And mind you, you can participate too, and I hope you do. It is a very amazing challenge because you make your own rules. And in what game or challenge do you get to do that? So you set the rules for yourself, what works for you and your family. So I am attempting, as I had said in our last video, to do this for 90 days. So January 1st to March 31st. And I'm gonna take it 1 month at a time though. It's a little too overwhelming for me to say, oh, we're gonna do this the entire 90 days. So I'm really just gonna take it month by month and reevaluate right at the beginning of the next month. But for January, we buy eggs every 2 weeks. I buy 4 dozen eggs, or between 3 and 4 dozen, whatever's available from my local farmer, every 2 weeks. That is not stopping. I do have some eggs water last, but that's just one thing that, again, making our own rules, I don't want to give up. I want to make sure we have that really fresh protein available to us at any given moment. So every 2 weeks, I'll be buying eggs. Every week, I am part of a raw dairy herd share, and every week I pick up 2 gallons of raw A2 milk. I'm not stopping that either. First of all, I paid for the herd share. I want to get my milk. So we will be purchasing our 2 gallons every week during the challenge. And then the other thing is that I'm going to be getting an Azure order in January. I mentioned this in our last video too, just because there's a few things I kind of need to get. And while I can go to our local grocery store and buy things, y'all know that's just not how I roll. I really like to go through Azure or local farms or grow it myself. And I'm not a fan of being a patron of the grocery store unless it's absolutely necessary. So I am going to be getting an Azure order. I will share that. It's not going to be a large one, but I do need to get some things. And then the last caveat, or the last rule that I'm allowing for ourselves, is fresh fruit. That's the one thing in the winter that, you know, just I can't grow that. I'm not in a citrus bearing region. I'm not growing our own citrus, our own bananas, our own avocados, etc. So we will be buying fresh fruit as needed throughout the challenge. I'm not going to give myself a dollar value. In the past years, that's what I've done. I've said, okay, I'm only going to spend 25 bucks a week on this, or, you know, 150 bucks a month, whatever it was. I'm not doing that this time. I'm setting my boundaries, but I'm not going to give myself a dollar limit. So while I'm here today talking with you, I'm just trying to clean out the freezer and get some things in the freeze dryer. So I had a bag of strawberries. You saw me just kind of finish that. That made 3 trays. They were purely frozen together in a big clump, and I chopped as much as I could. I also just found some grapes in the freezer and pineapple. So I'm gonna try to get these on the last 2 trays and then run the freeze dryer. I've also got bread in the oven because we have no bread since we've come back from vacation. So I'm just trying to like get the kitchen ready, but also just kind of get my brain in the right mindset. The other goal I want to do for the challenge is really explore with the meals. And what I mean by that is try not to make the same old thing that I make. We all get into those ruts. I often try to find inspiration elsewhere and come back to the kitchen feeling inspired and ready to try something new. And y'all, when we went to New York City, 2 things I loved about the trip. I mean, many things I loved about the trip, but 2 things I did love was all of the walking. We walked between 5 and 6 miles a day, and it felt so good. It just felt so good to be active and moving, and, you know, the energy and the buzz of the city. And the second thing is the food. The food in New York City is amazing because it is such a cultural melting pot. You can have some of the best food in the world of all different kinds. Like we went to Little Italy for breakfast. We went to Koreatown for dinner. We went to Chinatown for dinner. We had an Italian restaurant for brunch on Christmas Day. You know, all kinds of just delicious food. And I was hoping that when we came back, I would be really inspired. I'm not. I don't know why. I think just because I'm still feeling kind of weighed down with the stuff, right? Like I still have got to put all the laundry away. I still have to get all the Christmas stuff put away. The tree, while I took the ornaments off yesterday, is still there. So I'm still feeling a little weighed down. And I know I'll work through that. But yeah, I'm looking for some inspiration. So I'm going to be kind of going around in different areas of my life and cookbooks and whatnot, and trying to get some inspiration just to cook some different meals that hopefully inspire you too. The second part of that is I am really focusing on whole foods, nourishing, real food, kind of like Weston A. Price scenario meals. We don't do a lot of processed food in general, but I'm going to try to take that up a notch a little bit and really focus on true nourishment from the inside out for ourselves. So by doing some of these freeze-dried things right now, I wonder if I have to cut these. I think for freeze-drying, when you're doing things like blueberries or grapes, things that are pretty well sealed with some sort of skin, you're supposed to chop them. So I'm going to chop them in half, just to make sure that they really do dry out from the inside. But I want to clean out the freezer. The other reason I love this challenge and I encourage you to do it is because it really helps you think about what do you need and what do you not really need, right? What's fluff, what's superfluous. And then it hones you in on your shopping or your gardening, growing for the next season. Like it really makes me think, okay, maybe I don't need to buy XYZ, right? Or we used all of our green beans. I need to continue to grow a lot more green beans this year. Those are the kinds of things I love about it too. Cleaning out the freezers, cleaning out the pantries, getting creative, using what you have, saving your money in your wallet for other necessary things. So, cleaning out the freezers, getting some of this fruit out because it'll make great snacks for the children. And mind you, whenever I freeze dry fruit, it usually lasts about 24 hours. It doesn't last very long. And honestly, sometimes it takes longer to freeze dry it. So it's a little bit of a, you know, anticlimactic moment after it comes out of the freeze dryer because it's gone very fast, but that's okay. It's still healthy, rich food for my family, and it's not being wasted, and it's getting out of the freezer. I feel like we are fairly stocked for the challenge. We still have probably 7 or 8 whole chickens left, a handful of chicken breasts and chicken thighs, and we have salmon. We have pork left from the whole pig that we purchased earlier in the spring of 2024. And then we still have some beef left, not a whole lot of cuts, but we purchased half a cow. I'm guessing it was mid to end 2023, I think, and we're nearing the end of that. But I'm going to try to utilize and use all of our beef really within the next 90 to 120 days. And then we'll just order some more beef from a local farm. I don't know that I'll get a half a cow again, just because we have so many different varieties of proteins. I always want to have a variety, but I need to make sure I have plenty of room to store it. And half a cow is a lot of beef. So we will probably go the quarter cow this time. And I realize it probably won't be as cost effective, and it maybe not, obviously won't last as long, but I think it'll be more manageable for us. So I'm hoping to utilize a lot of our beef through the challenge. I also have some lamb. I had purchased half of a lamb earlier this year. Oh, and I have 1 turkey that I got on my last Azure order, because at some point in the challenge, we are going to have a Thanksgiving dinner. I don't usually cook a Thanksgiving dinner because we spend Thanksgiving with family and they do a majority of the cooking. But my family and I like to kind of do our own little Thanksgiving, kind of halfway through mid-year. So we'll probably do that in March maybe, just to enjoy those fall Thanksgiving flavors before spring and summer arrive. But when I think about meal planning, you know, and trying to figure out what am I going to cook, what am I going to make, and this is just what I do, but I'm sharing because maybe it'll help you, is I always start with the protein. So what protein do I have on hand, right? So we're going to have our chicken, our beef, our pork, salmon, lamb, and eggs. Eggs is another protein. So I always start with that. Like, what do I have as my protein? Because again, I like to try to follow the Weston A. Price Nourishing Traditions model with healthy grass-fed animal protein. And so once I figure out the protein I want to make, and I try to rotate through it. It's like, okay, well, we had beef last night, so we're not going to have beef tonight. This is the way I think about it. Try to rotate through the different proteins to keep it interesting, to keep it fun. These pineapples are frozen in one big block. That's funny. But then I think about the vegetables, right? What do I have? So I always have carrots. I do have potatoes. I may have to get some more potatoes in my next Azure order. We have canned green beans. Now, I had absolutely no success this year, 2024, in growing green beans. And it's mainly because of a rabbit. If you've been following along with the channel, there is a rabbit that has been getting into our garden in the entire portion of the spring. And then I don't know what happened, but he went away in the summer. And now I have found out in the fall and winter he's back. So I did not have any luck growing green beans because he just ate all of my plants, like down to the nub, which was okay because I'm finding like I had a really good green bean year in 2023. And so we were okay. But I can tell you, I only have maybe 22 or 23 quarts left of canned green beans. That's going to be used up definitely within the next 3 to 5 months. So I need to make sure I have a good green bean production this year. Now, on the flip side of that, next year, I probably don't need to grow as many hot peppers. I think I went a little overboard on the hot peppers this year, and I had a really good harvest. Again, if you've been following along, you've seen all my hot peppers. Plenty of hot pepper sauce made, dehydrated hot peppers, freeze-dried hot peppers, so we're good. So I kind of want to, again, use this opportunity with the challenge to hone in on what I got to do. Because come February is usually when I start our seeds, at least our pepper and tomato seeds. Not eggplant, but pepper, tomato, some herbs, some of the annuals, or even a perennial that maybe I'm not growing yet. All right, I think that looks pretty good. I am trying to get them in similar size, but honestly, it's not going to matter because the freeze dryer with the strawberries, the pineapple, and these grapes, it's probably going to run a good 36 hours. But this is what I do, right? If I buy fruit, grapes, pineapple, fresh fruit, and the kids are not eating it in time, I will immediately throw it in the freezer before it starts to go bad so that I can do something like this, repurpose it, reuse it in a way that's exciting and fun for them. Oh, and I do have to go to Whole Foods today because I have an Amazon return. And I thought, you know what, while I'm there, I'm gonna look at the fruit. I may get some fruit today, and I gotta get taco shells. Azure Standard used to sell taco shells, and they don't anymore. And I don't know why, but I can only guess it's because through the transportation process and transit, they maybe got cracked and they were arriving broken. That's my only guess. And so they don't do taco shells anymore. So I'm gonna go to Whole Food and get some taco shells while I'm doing my Amazon return and check out what fresh fruit they may have. I also have frozen raspberries that I had gotten from Azure Standard because I need to make raspberry jam. That's my family's favorite jam. So I'm gonna be getting that done over the next week. And I still have, oh, bread's ready, 1 second. I still have about, gosh, I think it's 12 gallons of homegrown tomatoes in the freezer. And so probably next weekend, a week from today, or whatever, next weekend. The days are all running together. I have got to start processing those. They are taking up a significant amount of room in our freezer, as you can imagine. I love fresh baked bread. Guys, if you do anything in 2025 as like a goal for yourself, learn how to make fresh bread. Sourdough, if all possible. That alone, like never having to buy bread anymore is, oh, it's so liberating. But they are taking up, those 12 gallons of tomatoes are taking up so much room. And so I've got to make them into a sauce, probably like a garlic passata again, because we have a lot of garlic left over still. And also maybe tomato soup, right? So I really want to, I'm just so dedicated to cleaning out the freezers. I want you to too. That's the whole point of the challenge. Use what you have, find out what you have, and get creative. All right, I will be filming every day and releasing a video 1 to 2 times a week, just to kind of keep it manageable for myself and for you guys to keep up. Join me on the challenge. It's hashtag 3 Rivers Challenge and or hashtag Pantry Challenge. I cannot wait to share the experience with you and see everything that you do too. Stay healthy, stay well, and I will see you in 2025.